Tag Show. With Jenna and Blue. Damn. Now, here's your host, Jenna and Blue Magic.
What's up? You're listening and watching the Mixed Tag Show with
Jenna and Blue.
What's up?
What up, though?
Not much. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Good.
How was your week?
Good. I started back at the gym, so I don't know. Do I look good?
I guess.
Wow. Okay. No, that's cool. Right. Wow. You think you're cool with someone, clearly.
Yeah.
All right. Well. Anyway, what about your week?
Did you do nothing special?
Did I? Did I? I don't know.
I don't remember.
No, I just joined the gym, worked, the usual.
Okay.
Nothing too crazy. I went to the dentist. If that's exciting. I don't know. What about you?
I didn't do nothing too crazy. Had my son this weekend. Of course, that's always a great time with him.
Yeah.
You saw our picture. We had our titles together.
You didn't show me. Did you put it on?
No, I sent it to you.
I know, but I'm asking, did you put it on Instagram?
No, I don't. I don't put my kid on my Instagram like that.
Didn't you one time?
Like, it's rare. Like, I don't really like.
I got you.
Like that. And then it's exciting because it was Wrestle
I
Kingdom
missed
weekend.
the celebrity. I get you.
Okay. It was Wrestle Kingdom weekend and it was AEW week for me. So I'm like,
What do you mean for me?
That's why I got my young
What
bucks.
do you mean for me though? Like, I'm excited just as much as
I'm
you
talking about.
are.
No, you asked me how was my week though. Like, I'm saying like for me, this is like.
How do you know I'm not excited though?
Because you didn't mention it when I asked you how was your week.
Because I figured we'll get into the show.
Yeah, I know, but I'm
discuss
just,
the
but
excitement.
see how much importantness it is to me because I mentioned it in my week.
Anyway, you're not wearing WWE shop gear today.
Nah, I'm kind of, I'm rocking with the Young Bucks today.
All right, you're switching sides.
I didn't say that. Don't be putting words in my mouth.
Well, I'm wearing.
WWE?
Yes.
One of us has to, at least.
La Muñeca, Zelina Vega. So it's
What does that mean? She posts that a lot. I'm like, what is that?
I forget, to be honest with you.
Oh. I'm sorry.
I forget. It'll come to me. But yeah, so this is not 30% off because that's the sale.
Right.
Right? But you can get this at customtees.com, 15% off.
Oh, and they got a sale right now for 30% off on your orders.
Yes.
So head over to W Shop by clicking on our link in our description, in our bio, in YouTube, and get your deal going on.
Where else?
Just I said, in the description and our bio.
Where else?
Oh, our bio in terms of meeting on our social
we
media.
We gotta stop.
The Mixed Tag Show.
We gotta stop it and do it again because you're messing up. I threw you the alley oop and you didn't.
I'm like,
You didn't.
it happens sometimes.
It's okay.
I got flustered a little bit. I don't know.
Why you got flustered? We do this.
So,
This is like how
right.
many months we've been together.
It
We
happens.
do this.
Brain farts. Just like how JR put it back out to the 3-point line. It happens sometimes. So you can find it on our Instagram at Blue Magic Grind or at
Miss Jenna Baby BAYBEE
or at a Mixed Tag Show in the bio. Just click on the link tree, or you can click on the link in our description on YouTube and send us some coins our way.
Please, thank you.
Yeah.
Where else they can send some coins our way?
By going to Collar and Elbow.
Use our code TMTS for some gear. Shout out to Al Snow because that's his
brand.
Yeah,
we're expanding.
Wrestling passion meets street fashion.
Fact though.
Right. So yeah.
Next up, it's time for. That's kind of low. Let me do it again. Next up, it's time for. Let's send it over to you, Jenna.
Okay, Bob. So it looks
Stop
like.
calling me Bob. My name is Blue, Azul, Magic, so many other options. Bob, why? What?
People wow, why are you so. Why? You don't like today?
No, you've been calling me Bob for like the past month. I'm not Bob.
All right, Bob. So it looks like today in the lead is TK Crew with 180 points. Shout out to TKO. Next up, Undisputed Nation of Domination, 93 points.
Nah, he got second place this week. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Evolution with 70 points.
Nah, not that far behind.
Shout out to Leah and the women.
She holding it down.
Petty Club Worldwide, 66 points.
Aw, what happened?
I don't know. New Generation X, 62 points. Rich Fam, 43 points. And Night Riders,
Wow. It's not a conspiracy.
35 points.
It's not rigged. You know what I noticed?
What?
The top people are at the bottom, but they're still at the top.
Well,
Yeah, that's something to me.
TKO's, you know,
Yo,
he's
how do you
second.
get up there? What? That's crazy. Go ahead.
All right, so with that said, overall, first place still is Petty Club Worldwide with 3,291 points. Second place now,
Yeah.
TK Crew.
How does this happen?
And, well, 180 points, we'll do that. And 35 points, we'll do that. Second place, TK Crew with 2,934.5 points. La Muñeca is the doll. Sorry, it came to me. I apologize. I always do that.
like, wait, what?
I apologize.
What? TK Crew running down with Lameka? Like, I don't know how to say it, so I'm not going to butcher it. I'm not going to butcher it.
Okay, Night Riders, 2,920.5 points in
rigged.
third place. Fourth place, 2,494.5. I said New Generation X in fourth place. Fifth place, Evolution, 2,130.5 points. Sixth, Rich Fam, 1,847.5. And last, but certainly not least, well, maybe least, 1,736.5, Undisputed Nation of Domination. So we have
And that's the draft.
that's our draft. So we have a special show today.
Why?
We have a guest.
Ah.
Yeah.
So wait.
What?
Okay.
What?
But you said, never mind. Okay.
No,
Yeah.
wait. No,
But
what?
you said you wanted to start off differently.
No, we're not
'cause
starting on it differently.
you wanna-
We had to introduce our guest. He's gonna come on to the show. He's gonna discuss wrestling.
Okay.
Shout out to Peter A. He's the host of My Little Underground.
Right.
Yeah. So we were guests on his show a couple of times. Well, I was, not you.
I was there one time.
I was on a couple of times. So sorry.
Nobody asked you.
No one asked you to be on this show. So how about that?
He asked me the first time, that's why I was there.
But he asked me a
But
following time.
But I'm saying nobody asked you how many times you was on there.
Well, no one asked you a second time to be on their show. So boop. Would we have any sound effects for that?
No.
Okay. Well, before we bring Peter out, I have a surprise for you.
Why?
What?
Said the why.
What do you mean, why?
Is this like a joke box where
No, I
like
have a surprise for you.
Jack in a box of the things that pop up and punch me in the face or something?
No. Why can't I just be your really, really dope tag team partner and just give you a gift?
Okay.
Okay, so this is what the box is.
That's why you didn't want me to touch it?
That's why I want you to touch it. So this is not actually from me. This is from Astro. Shout out from
Oh yeah,
Astro.
he did say he
was gonna hook you up.
Yeah.
I wanted to open it to see what was inside and then give it to you, but he said, "Don't."
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks a lot, Astro.
His words were a little bit more vulgar when he told me not to do it.
I'm pretty sure it was.
So yeah, so hurry up because Peter is waiting.
I mean,
Peter A is waiting.
I know, but if you would have told me this, I'd have prepared with a box cutter or something. This is
I was gonna cut it for you, but he said let you do everything. So.
This is like a heavy tape, so like my keys like.
So this is a surprise for me as well.
And it's wrapped. I like wrapping paper.
I forgot. He told me he used the wrapping paper that I put his gifts in. So this is like recycled wrapping paper.
I see because there's like, who's this on there again?
Let me see.
Is it Kev?
That's Kev.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like Kevin was like BFFL, right?
BFFL.
Yeah. And there's another wrapping paper. All right, who's on this one? Nobody? Okay, cool. I just had to make sure. And there's another wrapping paper. Great.
It's
white.
It's
It's
blue.
I like the color.
Obviously.
And it is, 2 t-shirts.
Wow.
Awesome. Blue World Order.
What?
Yeah.
There you go.
I like this.
It's only one shirt. What do you mean? Is more? You said 2 shirts. There's another shirt?
Yeah.
What the heck? Where's my gift, sir?
And
Smackdown.
Smackdown.
That boy is nice.
Thank you a lot, Astro. We got to change some of these points around.
Give
I'm going
him
to do the points next week.
Let me see. I got you. I'll send it off to you. We got to give him about 300. So we did say we're going to do trivia questions to help anyone, whatever. So there you
go. I'll handle the points next week. I got it.
All right, let's bring Peter A onto the show.
Peter A, everybody.
There you go.
Straight from the underground.
To the foreground. I would kill for that BWO shirt.
Nah.
I'm a big fan.
You can't have
Thank
that.
you.
Shout out to Stevie Richards.
Facts.
One of the most underrated wrestlers ever.
So what's up?
All the way up. I'm all the way up. You know, things are cooking well over at My Little Underground.
My Little Underground. Talk about your podcast.
Well, it's basically just a bunch of interviews with artists I like, you know, filmmakers, anybody that interests me. And every now and then, I talk wrestling, you know, either with you guys or my brother, Smiley.
Shout out to your brother. I would have loved him to come onto the show.
Yeah. We got to bring him on again.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How come she was on 2 times and I was only on 1 time?
You know, you were invited too.
No, you weren't.
She said you wasn't.
I got the text. Oh,
she said I wasn't.
You can go. I keep my text messages. So
she said I wasn't. She said
Jenna says I'm the heel.
She said it's an evolution thing. They wanted a girl's perspective.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
A woman's perspective.
Yeah, woman's perspective, and I wasn't invited. So I was like, oh. Okay.
He felt salty.
Blue was invited.
All right.
You know,
That's
Jenna knows
fine.
that Blue was invited.
That's fine.
I can pull up the text message. You were not invited.
Oh my God.
It's okay. You can just tell him that it was a woman's thing. You wanted a woman's perspective, not necessarily a man's perspective.
Next time they do
it's
Saudi
fine.
Arabia, just invite me.
Oh man.
Wow,
I'm not even gonna go there.
You might catch some flack for that, sir.
Yo.
And you've been known as to be a sexist, so I don't know.
That's not known. No, I've been accused one time.
I accused you last week.
You always accuse me, so yours don't count.
Oh.
So.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So. Okay.
So let's go into
when does your show air?
Well, I try to do it twice a month.
Okay.
And when I do record them, I probably drop them either Friday or Saturday
or
Sunday.
Where can they catch your show at?
Everywhere. iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, TuneIn.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
So you know the good thing about your show is in regards to like discovering new acts and what have you, it's just super diverse. You don't stick to one genre, right? So you give everyone a platform, which is pretty cool. You even give us a platform, right?
Yep.
There you go.
I mean, I rap too. I don't even know if you've seen the episode when I was rapping with
Go ahead, spit something for him real quick. See if
I don't remember. What was it again?
Get out of here.
Yo, it's Shinsuke, yay. Hey, I be on my J's, on my feet, keep it neat. This your boy Blue, magic in the streets. What? Put that back in my pocket.
Wait, where can I see the sound effects, please?
No.
Sir,
it was
let
bars.
me see
Bars.
What did you think?
No comment.
Okay. So let's get into the show. We're
hating.
wasting time. Let's get into the show. I'll let you start it off.
Yes, because this is kind of my world again. Wrestle Kingdom was this past weekend. Such good show.
Yes, sir.
You look like you're very excited about it.
It wasn't the greatest Wrestle Kingdom, but it was still very good wrestling.
Why? Because it was predictable in regards to results?
Yeah, it was predictable because, a lot of people were leaving. We'll get into that in Hot Topics.
Yes.
But first match that started off was the IWGP Never Openweight title match. Will Ospreay versus Kota Ibushi. I don't know if you seen it?
I did watch it.
You seen it?
Yes.
How brutal was that match?
It was like a test of strength, and it was like they were trying to outdo each other in a certain way, but it was almost like a firmware update for Will Ospreay because we all know he's a super high flyer and stuff like that, but this match was like, because Kota is superb in the psychology department, so this was a good test of selling and really making us digest what we just saw.
Definitely. Anything on your end, Jenna? There's some water right there. Yeah, water.
Excuse me. I got so choked.
While she's drinking her water, I will say that
that's how good Wrestle Kingdom was.
Yeah, like that match, like he said, was great psychology. Really great psychology. You see the turn in Will Ospreay as he's making like a heelish, kind of more serious role instead of being a superhero.
Yeah,
like he's been now is like another side of him.
Yeah.
He had a lot more cocky attitude.
I definitely saw that, especially after he won the title. Just the way he was holding the title.
And look down on him, and then afterwards when he was on the side of the ring and he was holding it up. But Will Ospreay actually scares me a lot. I think he's just going to kill himself in every match that he has. This match was no different. It was a good match. It was a nice, brutal match. But like I said, it just scares me. But it was cool. And unfortunately, someone did get hurt. Yeah, I was about to say, speaking of brutal, Ibushi did get a concussion with the Hidden Blade. It was his new move that he debuted that day. It was the Hidden Blade. And when you first saw it happen, it was like, is Ibushi really selling that good? Or is he really knocked out?
What move was this?
When when Ibushi was sitting up and he elbowed him in the back of the head.
Hey, you got to work on that then, because you can't be knocking people out of the back of your head. And
so, yeah, he was limp. Even when he picked him up for his final, his finisher, you saw Ibushi was limp.
Yeah.
And I was like, is he just great selling this?
Yeah.
And then kind of find out when you saw the stretches come out, you don't really see stretches come out in New Japan.
That's not what they really do.
No.
So when you see that come out, you're like, okay, this is like kind of serious.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, overall it was a good match.
So wait, before you continue, what are they gonna do with that move though? Because the first time he debuted it,
he's got to perfect it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But he named it the Hidden Blade on Twitter. He said, I've always been called the Silent Assassin. Just call me the Assassin now. So he's playing with it now.
That's it.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like that dark side of him now coming out.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for this new Will Ospreay. Followed up was the IWGP Tag Team Title match. LIJ, which was Evil Sonata, defeat G.O.D. and the Young Bucks' final match in New Japan.
Yeah, I didn't see this match. But when you guys talk about, okay, it's predictable, but this is predictable that you need, because if it went any other way, everything that happened after that, as far as AEW is concerned, wouldn't make
no sense.
Yeah.
And to add on to that, LIJ's been on fire at the end of this year, and actually
Last year.
Well, at the end of last year, good catch.
Sorry,
it's fine. And
you did it to me last week.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's cool.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
And Evil Sonata won the tag team tournament, so it was just like it made sense for them to beat G.O.D. and it made sense for the Young Bucks to go out on their back, kind of situation. The only thing I had a problem with this match was that it was kind of short. It was like 10 minutes.
It was a very short match.
You got like 10, 11 matches on the card, anyways. So.
Yeah, but typically, just New Japan matches are always long, regardless. I don't know.
Usually the main events are.
Nah, the matches usually have like at least good 15, 20-minute action.
Yeah. Usually with title matches, like the
this
junior.
Is a title match.
It's a tag team.
Right. But
with 3 teams.
But at Wrestle Kingdom, the single matches, single title matches are the ones that get the most time usually.
But again, this is G.O.D. and Young Bucks, and this is some of your big superstars. They usually give you more than 10 minutes,
especially Young Bucks. Yeah.
So it was just everybody said it was like kind of weird, because it kind of felt like the match was rushed, in a sense. And I guess because last year it was like 4 hours, they was trying to cut back. No, it was like 5 or 6 hours last year.
Yeah, there's been a couple of Wrestle Kingdoms that's been
that's why
closing on the 6-hour mark.
Remember, I texted you. I said, "Let me know which matches it is, because I'm not spending 7-10 hours watching New Japan." But I found it odd that G.O.D. didn't retain. I know you said LIJ is hot right now, but I don't know. I just found it they were hot too, right?
Yeah.
So I just found it odd that they didn't retain. But
I think it just adds more to their story, because again, they lost to G.O.D. lost to them in the tag team tournament to win the tag team tournament. So it was more so like continuing that storyline between those two.
Right.
The IWGP Junior Heavyweight title match happened was Tajiri Ishimori, which defeated Kushida.
I wanted to see this match, but
this match was decent too, but it was short. This was another 10-minute match.
It was a big win for Bullet Club.
This is a big win for Bullet Club, because they need that title. And then we'll talk about Kushida in Hot Topics.
I'm surprised you didn't want to talk about Cody and Juice Robinson.
That match fell short, because Cody's actually hurt right now, so he can't really do too much. So that match was short.
And plus, he's leaving.
And plus, he was leaving, so everybody knew Juice was going to win the title.
Yeah.
I didn't agree with giving it to Juice.
Yeah.
Because Juice had it already and didn't really do much with it.
Yeah.
But what are we going to do?
Right.
IWGP IC title match was Noda Q.
I saw this. This was something else.
Was it?
Yeah.
This was like straight out of FMW.
Yeah, like,
it was
they
like
went hard at each other,
Yep.
and they did a lot better than their first match. I guess they figured out their chemistry a little bit more.
I thought the other match was pretty good too. I know you weren't necessarily the biggest fan of it, but
Right.
I liked it.
No, this one was definitely on psychology side. It was there. Naito actually won the IC title back, so it's gonna be interesting to see how he treats the title this time around.
Yep.
But yeah, overall it was an enjoyable match. I wouldn't say match of the night, but
A lot of people saying it was, but I don't agree. I think it was different.
It
wasn't like a typical Wrestle Kingdom style of title match, but that's what made it interesting. It was, Jericho painting the canvas and Naito being as great as he is. They just kind of worked well together. Two big personalities coming together. It was magic.
And what made me interested about this is that with Naito winning, and earlier LIJ also won the junior heavyweight tag team titles, everybody at LIJ got titles now.
There you go.
There you go.
And they added a new member, so this could be the year for LIJ.
Yeah, so definitely. And we're waiting for Takahashi to come back.
Oh, yeah. That match with Will Ospreay, oh, my God.
It's going to be very interesting. And to close out Wrestle Kingdom, it was IWGP heavyweight title match. Ishimori Tanahashi defeats Kenny Omega.
Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Hiroshi Tanahashi defeats Kenny Omega. Another predictable match. This is Tanahashi's 8th title win. He's been dubbed the John Cena of New Japan.
Yeah, because he helped. He was part of the rejuvenation of New Japan.
Right.
In the early part of this decade.
Right. So, did you guys catch that match at all?
Yes, I did.
I didn't catch that match.
How do you feel?
It was magic. It had lots of drama, and it just added, to their story. It was Kenny is the new, and Tanahashi is the traditional. I guess some people would say old.
Right.
And Tanahashi's been critical of Kenny Omega, and especially that triple threat IWGP title match they had.
Right.
recently.
He didn't like that very much.
Yeah, because typically the IWGP title match is one-on-one.
Right.
And he kind of thought it was like, a bunch of friends just being friends. You know what I mean?
Right.
No one took it seriously. But this was the match to prove that Kenny is like, he could. I mean, he can, but this was kind of Tanahashi showing like, this is like, New Japan is me. It's mine. You know what I mean? There's a certain way you have to go about doing this. You know what I mean?
Kind of like a passing of the torch in a sense.
Nah, because Kenny was leaving, so it's like they went back old school.
Mm-hmm.
But
I know, but Kenny was your top one, at least one of your top stars there,
right?
And like you said, that it's going back to like I'm taking it over again. I'm taking back what's mine. That's why I
still
passing
the torch backwards.
I equated in that sense.
Yeah, to me, I think Tanahashi was carried by Omega a bit because
I don't think so.
Because Omega held most of the offense, and I think
it was mostly like there was a lot of just drama, and Tanahashi was pretty much selling almost everything that he was doing. You know what I mean?
He's basically with Cena mode.
Tanahashi was almost like the hero in the story.
Right, yeah.
It's kind of like he was taking back New Japan.
Right, and Kenny was played the heel very well, and like even when Tanahashi tried to do new school and try to put Kenny through the table, he missed and went through the table himself. So it's just like, let me just stick to what I know.
Yeah.
Right.
But overall, Wrestle Kingdom was pretty well.
Yep.
I enjoyed it. If you get a chance, go back and watch it. And that was Wrestle Kingdom. It was sad we had to see all these great acts go, but we'll get into that in the hot topics. It all leads to a better future.
Nice.
To your show.
Good for you. That was a good send off. All right. Well, Raw didn't start off with this, but we had Hulk Hogan come out for a Mean Gene tribute. Why did you put this on here?
Only because it was like I felt like the tribute was very well. And I know that this is the first time Hogan's been on TV since he was, banned, kind of situation. And
no, because I guess on Raw.
Yeah, like
because
he was national on TV. He was on pay-per-view, but like this is the first national televised he's been back.
Right.
So everybody's kind of interested to see what kind of reaction he would get. Luckily for him, it was in Florida. And people that I know that was there said he got a great pop from the audience. Bless you.
Does he live in Tampa?
Yeah, he lives in Tampa. So he got a great reaction. But if you looked online, a lot of people were still upset. But it was Mean Gene. You couldn't really like.
No, I understand, and I get that. But I was just like, it it soured it for me, the tribute, a little bit, just because I'm not necessarily the biggest Hulk Hogan fan.
Right.
So it's just like.
I think this made the most sense because who was closer, all the people that are really close to Mean Gene are passed. Yeah, Hogan made the most sense. Yeah. They were like, it's like butter and bread.
Right. And when Hogan even mentioned the names, even though like I'm not big on Hogan right now, he was just mentioning names like Andre the Giant and Rowdy Piper and Gorilla Monsoon. It made me feel away like, yo, we lost a lot. Like a lot of my childhood is just like.
Well, you're kind of old.
Just stop.
Sorry. I apologize.
We're not doing this right now. This is for Mean Gene.
Sorry, Mean Gene.
That's really sad. When I heard he passed, I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
I really love Mean Gene. Yeah. Like, he made interviews that much better. So that was really a sad passing.
And he was entertainingly biased.
Right.
Because in WCW, like, he would interview Hogan. He'd be like, how dare, you're despicable.
Right.
You know what I mean?
and that's the thing. Like, we don't have that right now. Like,
it's a lost art, honestly. Like,
in none of the promotions, we don't have that at all.
No. So,
to me, I can't think of nobody after Mean Gene that really did it like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was just like, dang.
Yeah.
I mean, Morrow is with Tommaso, but it's very minuscule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's like color commentary. Like, that's a given. I'm talking about, like,
and he
backstage interviewing.
And he reminds me a lot, like, similar to JR, just that passion that he has on the mic. But
Renee is close to that. Close.
Renee has a lot of to polishing up on.
She has great potential.
She has great potential. I think if they would give her more time to speak, I feel like she has one or two lines, and then the guys control it.
No, I'm talking about interviewing.
Interview-wise, yeah.
Interviewer, yeah. She was close to being that kind of person, but then
she had both personalities.
She has her own. I like her as an interviewer, but I wouldn't say she's there.
No. She can be that type of person
if they gave her time.
What I'm saying is, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think she has her own. She has a niche to her, and it's fine. It works, but I don't necessarily see
her
that
as the next Mean Gene.
Exactly.
Oh no, I don't believe no next Mean Gene. I'm just saying, like, she can be that when she's interviewing, wrestlers or whatever. She can like throw in her
own
bias opinion. You know what I mean? Kind of like how Mean Gene would. Not saying. I don't believe in the next so-and-so. I think there's one and only of whoever. You know what I mean?
So the next segment, we had Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman, and Paul Heyman was with Brock Lesnar backstage. These are your people, so go ahead.
Dang, just do my plate. I to be honest with you, at this point in Raw, I had it in the background. I told you that. But I did realize that Braun lost his lines. It kind of said the same things that Paul Heyman was saying, but in reverse. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like weird. And when Brock came out and then just walked around the ring, if Braun is not cleared yet, why bring him out?
You know what? I got to fix the points because I said Braun didn't show up. 7 points ain't going to do anything for anybody.
But yeah, like, to me, it was just like, why bring Braun out if he's not cleared to wrestle or be physical? Because now he just looks stupid standing in the ring.
They didn't need to be physical.
I think they should have.
Because we have 3 weeks till the pay-per-view. If they did a quote-unquote brawl, where do you go from there?
I mean,
you got to tease that.
I think there's many ways they can go with that. I just feel like this is the new era, right? This is the same thing we've seen from Brock, Paul, Braun, right?
Yeah.
We need some excitement, and that wasn't it. I would have loved to seen a brawl. Excuse me.
But then what you do 2 weeks?
It could be a lot of things.
You got time because you could have had this week Braun get the upper hand.
Exactly.
This is what happened last time. He got demolished, so this is his chance to get upper hand.
Yeah.
And then kind of give Brock a chance to look back, like, all right. And then Brock is not gonna be there next week. The week after that, leading into Royal Rumble, you can get Brock to surprise Braun.
Okay.
Find him out like when he's getting ready to leave in the parking lot and attack him. Like, there's so many different ways you can go with that.
Right, but let's imagine a perfect world where Brock is there 3 or 4 weeks at a time. Right. The first week you have them not do anything to each other.
But the perfect world is not there because
right,
Brock is not there.
Right. But like the first week you have not do nothing to each other. Right. You kind of just tease them.
Right.
Then the week after that you kind of have Braun or Brock get the upper hand, and then the last show or the go home you have the other guy get the upper hand on the other one or whatever. You know what I mean? You kind of build to that climax.
I understand
and then,
that, but
boom, we're gonna see them fight
I
on
understand
Sunday.
that, but when you have Brock and Paul backstage, then Braun loses his footing in regards to his lines. It just made it a really, really awkward segment.
Right.
When I was watching it, I was like,
It was very awkward.
it was extremely
But
awkward.
then you saw, like, I think Brock and Paul were natural in that kind of, you know what I mean? This is who they are. Braun was like, he was in the ring and he was saying his catchphrases, and it was like, it was awkward.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But and with that said, ultimately, then if Brock and Paul are naturals at that role, the whole thing is to bring up your coworker, your partner, right? Who you're doing this match with. You have to help elevate Braun too, and that just made him look stupid.
Yeah, he was lost in the water, and like you said, in a perfect world, that's how it would be. But it's Brock, and it's Brock's world, Vince's world, and it's Brock this week. We're not gonna see him to the week of, so we can't really have that slow build that we should have.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought Brock and Paul were great
Of
in
course,
their role. They were really good.
They don't do it for me. Because it's the same, and it's not about hating and not liking Brock or Paul. It's just the same thing that I feel is said every week. It's just there's no new dynamic for me. So it was just like I watched this segment from all three of them, and I was just like,
Okay.
all right.
But like I said, it was in the background for me. After that, we had a moment of bliss, the debut of a moment of bliss. And her first guest was Ronda Rousey.
The baddest woman on the planet.
And she asked Ronda, who would you like to face next?
What did you think of the segment?
Was
What do you
good.
think of the talk show? Like the whole, before we get into the rest of the actual
Right.
segment. What did you
good.
think of it?
I think it was Alexa Bliss in her, this is how she's natural. She's a good personality, and she has that kind of diva, not, diva meaning like I'm a celebrity, I'm better than everybody, get me my coffee or whatever, that kind of thing. It was great. But I think there are certain things that could have like trimmed the fat to make it a lot better. Like when Nia Jax came out, I honestly, I don't know what she was saying the first like 2 minutes.
Well, before we
know what I'm saying?
before we get into that part, like what did you think in regards
Like
to
the show?
like for me, the reason why I'm asking, I thought, and I don't think it's Alexa because, like you said, she is a good personality and just she has that ability on the mic, and you may not.
No, she's good on the mic. I just don't think that she's as great as everybody makes her out to be.
So I felt it was awkward. Again, I'm using this word a lot, but for me, it was kind of awkward. I don't know. So that was my take in the first couple of minutes in regards to it. I thought it went on a little too long, and then
Right.
yeah,
I think the match following went on a little too long. But
we'll get into
yeah.
that.
Yeah, but that I think it's just more so like how we see with Ronda. Sometimes it's like she has it, sometimes she doesn't.
Yeah, and it's all about just her continuing to grow and
Right.
finding her niche.
So I think that's where the dry part really came into it.
Yeah.
I think Ronda's more believing when she's passionate about something and not written out.
Yeah.
For.
I think she really believed in what she was saying.
I was gonna say that because now we'll get into it. Do you wanna?
Oh.
Boss time!
So Ronda shouts out Sasha Banks. I forgot the actual words she used, right? But
she was like
the unsung hero of the Raw Women's Division.
She wasn't handed anything, and she doesn't have beings and all that stuff.
Essentially, everything that we've been
saying
for the past few months, that she's the best women's superstar in the WWE. I felt Ronda was passionate about that because she said that before when they've asked who she wants to face. She said Sasha Banks, and she's like sung her praises. So I think she definitely believed in that.
I think she did too, because again, I've read it before. When I say that, it seemed like it's just like if you write it out for her to read, it doesn't come out across as the greatest to me. It's like trying to lead into that. That's why it seemed kind of dry-ish in my opinion. But that segment with Nia Jax, since we're going into it now, and Sasha Banks, I don't know. Like Nia Jax is like. She's missing on everything right now.
What's your reaction in regards to that?
I think with Nia Jax, as far as talking, less is more.
Yes.
Because that one Raw where she, I think it was right before, what pay-per-view was it?
Survivor Series?
Not Survivor Series.
Or CLC.
CLC, right? With her and Ronda.
Mm-hmm.
And she got in the ring, and she just randomly started screaming and peeking the microphone as if we were supposed to care. Like, just because you scream or say a curse word or whatever does not make your promo any better.
At least, unless you're Meek Mill.
Oh, yeah.
See, a lot of people didn't like the scream. The only reason why, when she did it the backstage segment when she screamed, because it just seemed like I want Nia to be intimidating, right? And it goes back to this segment, right? When Sasha said, What line? She makes herself look silly by saying, well, I'm not a B. I am that B. But, like, what? If in a perfect world, right, if someone says that to you and you're that dominant and, stronger than someone, what?
I'll see you in the ring.
I'm going to see you in the ring. But it's just like they make Nia or Nia. I don't know whose fault is it. Like, this, like, cocky.
Even when
you have to be dominant. There's a reason why they call you the irresistible force. Whatever. You're supposed to be just that much powerful than your opponent.
Right.
None of that. All that, like you said, talking less is more.
With her, at least.
With her,
because she and everybody's making a joke about it. She called herself the 300-ounce Samoan. It was like 300 ounce. So you're 19 pounds. Like, what's going on here? So,
on that note, though, Sasha Banks, however, delivered a pretty good promo that we have not really heard from the boss in a long time.
And it was one line.
It was one line. But see,
it was more than one line. Because she took a shot at Ronda, too.
She took a shot at Ronda. That probably went over
everybody's head.
Right?
She was like, I'll teach you how to lose with grace.
Which is obviously we've seen, right? and this is what we say. I'm getting excited, but it's what we say. Like, people forget that Sasha can hold her own on the mic if you let her. And this was a prime example. And I remember you Astro text me, like, oh my God, you're gonna be happy, whatever. Because I had just came back from the gym and whatever. So I was like,
what happened?
Lost. Yeah.
What happened?
What happened? But what did you guys think of the match?
Well, for the number one contender match, I think it was
contenders match.
Oh yeah, number one.
Right.
Anyway, the match was okay. Sasha got as much as she can out of Nia. I feel like that's the gist of it now. It's like, how much can you get out of Nia?
Yeah, but I think this is Raw, so I'm not expecting a 30-minute Iron Women match.
Right.
But I think the match kind of overstayed its welcome.
Okay.
I think they could have done. It would have been a lot more effective if it was a lot shorter. At least maybe, I don't even know how long the match was, but at least like maybe 5-ish matches, minutes shorter, it would have been a lot more effective. I think it kind of started to drag. You know what I mean? When you have a monster and someone like Sasha, you gotta get in and get out. At least for me.
I don't agree with that because it just goes back to like previously in the past with women having shorter matches. I think the match was slow and then it picked up at the end.
I think it picked up, but then when it picked up, when it should have went home, it kept going, and then we're just like, okay, when is it gonna end? At least for me, I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
Do you agree with that?
I think it's just that what made it feel that way is a lot of the missed spots, and like we talked about
the hurricane,
the Hurricane on the apron, like Nia didn't flip over like she was supposed to, and it's just missed cues that makes it look like, all right,
all the reason to go home faster.
God, and I think that's what a lot of people are saying is like maybe Nia Jax's stamina is not built for those kind of matches because it's usually just you could tell when she's huffing and puffing and losing her grip with Zelina or whatever it is. So I think that in that term of you have to learn how to adjust to Nia's abilities in the ring.
And then you become exposed. When you go too long, like, look, okay, I loved her match with Ronda Rousey.
That was a pretty decent match.
You know why? It was like 11 minutes. It was the right amount of time for that.
Well, I mean,
match.
but both of those two are not ring generals, so yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But like, I think Ronda is got it. She gets it. She's still learning, but she gets it. Nia's not there yet to have that kind, like, a match as long. You know what I mean? Like, the match they had, like, if that match with her and Sasha would have been fine. If you know, you do your thing as a monster and then you make Sasha look good as the fiery babyface, and you go home and you know, you're able to digest what happened. If you keep going on and on, people are gonna get overexposed, and you just kind of just like, okay, great, there's a match.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it wasn't the greatest match in the world. I mean, we saw who the better superstar in the whole segment in regards to just promo and the actual match itself. And I can see what you're saying in regards to maybe if you would have shortened it. I wouldn't say maybe 5 minutes, but shorten it, I get it. Because like you said, you overexpose weaknesses and what have you. So I can agree with that. But I enjoyed it, so.
Of course. Of course you did. So. And to close out the night, right? We had this 2 again, huh?
Yeah. So, what did you think that now we had the stipulation Falls Count Anywhere with Seth and Dean?
It was great. That they should have had that match at TLC.
Hello.
I don't know why they had a regular ass match at TLC, but that's beside the point.
Right.
But this match was great because they knew what they had to do. You know, it wasn't just go out there and have a match. Mm-hmm. No, they were trying to tell their story. And you tie in Bobby Lashley in there. You're kind of tying all the stuff that happened in the beginning because it's a 3-hour show and nothing's really in a vacuum. You want people to kind of digest what happened throughout the night.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I thought this match was perfect. And I felt, okay, Seth Rollins needs to prove something to himself. I feel like we know he's good and he knows he's good. But now he has to just show it either to Triple H that, look, I am the guy that carried Raw on my back, like he said a year ago, and I felt that. And I see with Dean Ambrose, he's like, I have to put an end to Seth Rollins or whatever, and there was no Roman Reigns tied to this. Right. It was these two just having their grudge match that they should have had.
I agree.
It was nicely put. And out of it, we also got 2 things. I don't know. Everybody picked up on the Bobby Lashley. Like, this is the Bobby Lashley that we've been asking for. Just come out and just be dominant. I don't need you to be bending over and showing your
exactly.
You know what I mean? Why?
The word that you associate Bobby with is dominant. Like, you're that big of a dude, strong. You have the mouthpiece. Like you said, we don't need to see your glutes.
Right. Like, no joking and, you know, having fun. Come out there, put somebody out.
Let Leo make the jokes and whatever. And I think that makes them a great duo, right?
Right.
Yeah, and I thought that was, since Bobby's been on the show, I thought that this was the best we've seen him.
Yep.
And he didn't necessarily have a match, earlier in the show, but
right.
That was the best,
you saw
that
the intensity.
They hit the reset button on a lot of things on this show this week.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I don't think people picked up was, on commentary.
Oh, boy. That's a whole nother podcast.
No, like, what's her name? Renee Young. Whew. Her name just escaped me. I'm sorry. Like,
wow.
You know how the name just escapes you and you're just like, where does it go?
It's okay.
But yeah, Renee Young.
I'll let you have that because I came with the La Muñeca.
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Renee Young, you saw her biasness for the first time and during Dean Ambrose's match. This is not fair.
What
like,
did she say? I totally black out the commentary.
Oh,
what did she
was just basically like, she was like, this is not fair.
I noticed that.
Like, she had a match earlier and like, no, like this is not how it's supposed to happen and da da da.
But and you see, this goes back to the previous what we were saying before, or at least what I was saying. Like, I think Renee can be so much better on commentating if they just give her more to say.
Exactly.
And that's a dope element. Like, this is her husband.
Right.
You know what I mean? Ultimately, he's been a complete jerk.
Right.
But that's her husband.
She's backing him.
Right.
And then when he won with Bobby Lashley's help, he was like, she said, what did you say earlier? It's all fair, right? like she was very happy that he kept the title.
So on
one
that
thing I don't want, sorry to cut you off, Jen. They shouldn't go like, I think the last time WWE did like a full-on heel commentator in Michael Cole, it just became too obtrusive.
Well, Michael Cole, I mean.
I'm just saying.
It's just the wrong.
If they do another, let's say if Renee goes heel or whatever, they got to like tone it down. Don't put it too much in the foreground as far as listening to you talk, but because the story of the match kind of goes away Right. You just hear somebody go on and on.
Well, I mean, that's what you have Corey there for. Corey's the
He's
heel,
the balancer.
right? He's the heel. If Renee...
They go back and forth.
Yeah.
Because in this one, Corey Grace was like, what do you mean this is fair? Like, da-da-da-da.
Trolling.
Yeah, right.
On that note, Peter, since we have you on, how would you rate Raw?
Now, since Raw is not a vacuum, I can only rate it on the feeling that I have if I want to watch it next week. And I feel like I want to watch Raw next week because this show was very effective in what they were doing. So I would give it an A for that reason.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like that. It's a different approach. Go ahead.
I would give it a C. Because to me, I didn't see too much difference as they promised in terms of, like, we've got Dean Ambrose twice. We got Seth Rollins twice. A lot of the mid-cards got lost in the shuffle. Tag team got lost in the shuffle a bit. And to me, if you're going to make a difference, the only difference they really made on the show was giving Sasha an opportunity.
I gave it a C+ because the beginning of the show started off decent. I liked the fighting backstage and what have you, and the match was cool. It was all right. But then it tailed off through the majority of the show and then picked up with the Moment of Bliss, Ronda, Sasha, and then the Seth and Dean match. That's why I gave it a C+. Yeah, so like you, and I agree. I'm gonna watch because I'm a WWE fan at the end of the day, but I do agree. We're not really seeing anything too different.
Well, I think when WWE said, "Oh, everything's gonna change," change doesn't happen.
And I was gonna say that I was gonna say it's not gonna happen overnight, but I do want to feel like confident that we're going in the right direction because I don't know. You said you felt some type of way going back to the Sasha and Ronda thing. You were upset.
Because to me, having a match now, everybody knows, like, to me, it feels like they're just feeding Sasha to Ronda because Ronda's not losing anytime soon.
Of course not.
But I think it's also building towards a 4 horsewomen thing, which is cool and what have you. I would love for a curveball where Charlotte and Becky decide to help out Sasha and cost Ronda the title since she cost them the title. But we're probably not going to get that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things.
Ronda shouldn't lose yet, though. Yeah.
But if she's going to lose, it could be this way because she cost somebody a title.
She shouldn't. I understand she shouldn't lose yet, but if she lost to Sasha Banks, it's not like it's
with help from Charlotte and Becky.
But regardless of that, it's not. What I'm saying is, if she lost to Sasha, it's not like it's a step down. You lost to, out of her mouth, the unsung hero of the women's division. So it's not like it's a step down for her.
No, it's not because when you look at the story arc of Ronda Rousey, right? She's embroiled with Becky Lynch and Charlotte.
Right.
I think if she's gonna lose to anybody, it's gotta be to one of those two. And then after that, you could do whatever.
Yeah, but then again, like I said, that's why you let them.
But I understand what he's saying. I apologize for interrupting. We know that's essentially going to happen, right?
Like,
yeah.
So by throwing the curveball, the reason why I was like, okay, yeah, you're giving us the fans what we want to see Sasha in a more prominent role, but she's just going to lose,
and we know that she's destined for the tag team titles.
Exactly.
But I think if Sasha loses in this match, it's only going to help her. To be honest, depending what kind of match.
Well, it depends.
Have.
Exactly, it depends on the match because I noticed they like to protect her, even though they give her they don't do much with her in the matches like at Survivor Series, right? When she tapped out to Asuka, right? It was because Nia double crossed her. It wasn't because she just lost. Yep. So if it's a situation where again she's protected, then okay.
And I also hate the fact that she won't be in the Royal Rumble. That's just me being selfish. I know, because
she killed it. That's true. We don't know that. We don't know. And but she definitely killed it last year. I said the same thing. I was disappointed about that. But whatever.
And the people gave it a B+.
Put the little graphic.
Probably the best Raw in months, I think.
Say that again?
Best Raw in months.
Think so?
I think.
Yeah.
What Raw was better than this in the last 2 months since Survivor Series? Not one.
I know that not too long ago there was a decent Raw. I can't remember which episode that was. But on to SmackDown.
With SmackDown.
I am hot.
We kicked off with Daniel Bryan and his amazing promo by the concession stand. How did you guys feel about it?
Superb.
It's fantastic promo. It had me engaged throughout the whole thing.
It was a different element to what he was doing before.
And
he
how
was
it
driving his point home.
And how the show typically starts. It doesn't
Right.
start off like that. So to see him out there with amongst the fans, Daniel Bryan's on a roll. Like I said to you before in the other episodes, I wondered if when he ever went heel again, how could he stop the crowd from saying chanting yes? And he did it instantly.
Killed it.
Instantly he
It's
did
really
it.
dead.
It wasn't a learning curve. It was just okay.
It's
We're gonna
over.
boo you. What are you talking about?
It's done.
You're bugging.
He's not a cool heel.
Yeah,
No.
He's a jerk.
he's a
Yes.
jerk.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
And
heel.
isn't that the kind of
Yeah.
where we associate some vegans? I don't want to say all vegans, right? Because that's rude.
Right.
But a lot of vegans that feel like they're better than you or what they eat, and
What,
that's
you're eating that?
exactly. And then yeah.
And then we also got a chance to see a nice match with R-Truth, and then AJ Styles attacking Daniel Bryan.
Great.
Yeah.
We're starting to see a nice growth for AJ. He's pursuing now something that everybody was saying that he's getting bored with the title. He's in a new role. How do you think about it?
I think it's great because now we're gonna see the different side of babyface AJ Styles,
Right.
and it puts him in a new role in chase mode to a certain degree. But I think it's interesting because him and Daniel have an interesting dynamic because they probably lead different lifestyles.
Right.
You know what I mean? Politically, we don't know where AJ Styles is. We know he's very religious and all that stuff, but that's not played out on TV.
Right.
But Daniel Bryan always lives this green lifestyle and all this stuff. I think it's a different clash, and I think it's cool. I love it.
Definitely.
And they have a big history too. So
Definitely.
I agree. I've mentioned numerous times on the show, I thought AJ's run was pretty stagnant, and I got tired of it quickly. So like you both said, it adds a new element that he's chasing and not the top guy.
Right.
And he's aggressive. That's another thing, right? Because as champion, I don't think I necessarily saw that aggression here and there.
Right.
Right, but just in general, you see he's very fiery at this particular moment. So I'm here for it. And R-Truth is getting some shine too, so I like that.
And then we follow up with a nice tag team match. Rey Mysterio and Mustafa Ali versus Cien Almas and Samoa Joe.
So this match was crazy. And
straight out of AAA. It was awesome.
When you disappeared on me when I
My
was
bad.
marking out,
My
I didn't
bad.
know the name of the move, but it's called the Canadian Destroyer.
Right.
That was crazy. I
Petey
was
Williams,
like,
what
what?
up?
Yeah,
I was like,
and
what?
he did it on a super Canadian Destroyer,
Yeah,
and it caught everybody off guard.
In Graves, you heard him, yeah.
Yeah, because again, when the last time you seen a wrestler, a superstar, use a power driver that wasn't the Undertaker?
Good question. It's
Like,
happened before.
But it's happened, but it's been
Can't
stopped.
think of it. Yeah.
It's been
You don't do it like
banned.
that, yeah.
So that's when I seen. I was like, wait, what?
And see, this is
I
what.
saw CM Punk do it against John Cena on Raw. That was years ago.
Yeah, it was
Wow,
just-
but it's not
that's what I'm
It was
saying.
like 5 years
recent.
ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
And see, this is the thing about where I'm confused on, like, okay, now this is the new era, but again, during the new era, SmackDown is just writing a better product, and it's just I don't understand, or not even writing a better product, but in just producing these that was fire.
it was a great match. Seeing Mustafa Ali fake the 619 and actually flip to hit Samoa Joe,
Yeah,
That was awesome.
yeah,
and
it
then
was
seeing
dope.
almost to play off of that.
Yep.
Yeah,
It was great writing. It was perfect.
it was a dope match, and I saw nothing wrong at this point. SmackDown had me
And
with the
Cien Almas is
promo
on
and
top.
this.
It was
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
This is a great year for Cien Almas. I feel it.
I
Oh,
hope
yeah?
so. I hope so. But after that, we had the Usos versus the Bar. I know you had an issue with this match, kind of.
Yeah, I did.
Why?
Because to me, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same group. The Good Brothers pinned the champions in the 8-man tag. The Good Brothers took out all teams when they was doing that whole brawl thing. Where's Sanity? Why are we going back to Usos getting a chance in a contenders match? Not a number one contender, a contenders
There you
match
go.
against the Bar. To me, that was just
My problem wasn't really with the match or whatever. Yeah.
but it just maybe just
That wasn't the issue. The issue was after the match with the whole Miz and Shane thing.
yeah.
That's kind of like not throwing the tag team in the garbage. It's kind of like making them look
same old
insignificant, because you have Sanity right there. You got Good Brothers right there. Incorporate them into that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Keep Miz and Shane the hell away from these. You know what I mean? I can't.
My friend definitely texted me as well in regards to that. He's like, "What is this that's they're trying to do with Shane and the Miz?" And I agree. I don't see the point of this. I don't know if they're trying to start a feud between them, but you're right. You're right. I don't either. I don't like this. I don't like the story. You're right. We're Sanity. We're the Good Brothers. But I have a theory.
Colognes.
Okay.
Something. I don't care at this point.
The Colognes are good in the ring. They just need a mouthpiece.
Listen, I'm gonna be biased as well because I love the Usos and I love to see them. But I get what you're saying, and I agree. But I have a theory that we'll discuss during Hot Topics. But we saw another element to this story, right? Mandy Rose.
I like that.
I did too.
It was kind of edgy. It was kind of edgy. I like that.
Because we're premiering our rankings, right? And we had this conversation on who we would put. You mentioned Mandy, and I agree.
Yeah.
Because I thought I like it. I like this feud that's budding between Mandy and Naomi.
I just hope that they have a nice, decent payoff to it. And not let it, because it started before and they stopped it for a little bit, and now they're like, all right, let's go with it again. So I just hope that they let it go where it needs to go.
Did they stop it?
Yeah, they kind of slowed it down a bit.
They slowed it down between Mandy and Sonya.
No, I'm talking about that too. I'm mad at they letting that kind of go.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about in terms of like on camera, because remember they supposed to have a match on SmackDown and they got canceled, and they continued it on Twitter for whatever reason. What happened with that? That's what I'm saying. Like they didn't have much camera time. And then now they're getting back into it, so I'm cool with that.
So the main event was Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair versus Carmella in a contenders match.
I'm sorry, I'm so used to putting number one.
Right, it was a triple threat.
Good.
Becky won.
So good.
So you said you thought it was really good. What did you think?
It was cool.
It was better than the SummerSlam match.
It was cool. I just wish that.
Maybe.
I just wish that I was hoping that Carmella won.
You wanted to see
kidding.
Carmella win.
No, I wanted Carmella to win because again, I want Becky and Charlotte to be in the Rumble match.
They still could be.
You don't know that. That's the thing. But when you put somebody,
you don't know that either.
Yeah,
but my thing is, you put them in the match.
Anything can happen at the Royal Rumble.
I'm a huge fan of Carmella as well, but it goes back to what I said last week. Is she really believable at this point as a baby face facing Asuka?
Hell no.
Right. When she was a heel. Yes, because you're gonna do everything in your power and cheat to win, right? Becky and Charlotte was the viable choice, and the thing is, had Charlotte won, I felt like people were gonna boo, right?
Yeah.
So Becky,
that would have worked anyway. If Charlotte won and they booed, that's good.
Nah.
Is it because she's not a heel?
Oh my God, she's a heel. Look how she's talking.
She's not a heel.
Oh my God,
she's
not
considered a heel yet.
She's not considered a heel.
I get her attitude. No, I get her attitude, but she's not a heel yet.
Just because because you have attitude, you're a heel.
Listen
to how she talks. I'm the queen. I'm better. She says I'm better than you.
But then, for that matter, Sasha said she's the best in the world or whatever.
Not like Charlotte.
But it's the same. But it's the same thing. Bigging yourself up.
Implication. It's implied.
She's in a great area right now.
Oh, not a great. No way.
I don't even think it's a great area because we thought at Survivor. No, we thought at Survivor Series that was the heel turn.
Right.
But then the following night, well, not the following night, but that Tuesday, she went back to her essentially same role she's been.
That was
doing.
Okay. After that,
there's nothing Charlotte has done since that's been heel. Like, okay, maybe when she the candlestick with Asuka, but still, it's just there's nothing.
Okay, what's likable about Charlotte's character right now? What's likable about it?
But how is it different from when her original face turn?
But no. I'm saying what's likable. What's likable about her character?
Me personally, but you can't ask me that because it's not that I don't like Charlotte. I think she's been handed too many opportunities, so that's clouding my judgment because there's not much. I think she's digressed in the ring. I think her promos are the same thing every week. I don't think there's much that's really changed for Charlotte for me. So you can't really ask me that question. I'm going to tell you.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying that she's not a complete heel. All I'm saying is she's not a complete heel. She's not there. I can see what you're saying, the tendencies, and I'm better than you and stuff like that.
But Becky says that.
Exactly. It's not fully there yet. It's not like the darkness that you usually.
Oscar and for that matter, Oscar came
does
out. Does it? Oscar came out after Becky won, and just the arrogance and like I'm the champion. It's just you have to like
You gotta
beat
carry
your
this
chest like
sometimes.
I'm.
That's how
I'm
all
the
of them are
best.
doing right now on SmackDown. It's just the
Seth right now.
Well-
You see this aggression from Seth. He.
Well, it's not about aggression. I'm talking about aggression. Like, listen to Charlotte's cadence throughout the whole
But
night
that's
on
it.
Smackdown.
But
Listen
again,
to the
but this is
whole thing.
but this is what I'm talking about in regards to Seth. When Triple H
It's not the
wanted,
same thing.
but it is the same
No,
thing.
it's
You're-
not the same thing
it
at
is
all.
the same
No,
thing.
it's not.
It is the
Not
same
even
thing.
close.
It's
Okay.
very same
no,
thing.
No. 'Cause
Absolutely.
Seth said, okay, Triple H said to him, what have you done for Raw, right? And then Seth's like, I carried Raw on my back for the whole year.
And then
That's true.
And then
That's
what
true.
happened? What happened when he went out to his match later on?
Yeah.
That's a heel move.
No, it's not.
attacking with a chair.
Attacking someone in the chair and
chair's
getting
not the
disqualified?
babyface.
That's not a
Wait,
babyface move.
Okay, what are we talking about now? What are you
That was
talking
like
about?
last
You're,
week.
what
This is
you're essentially saying in regards to characters move.
Right.
Charlotte, the way Charlotte goes about
Characteristics,
herself is similar to what a lot of superstars do.
Yeah, it's like
No.
that's the tone of SmackDown Women's Division right now. Everybody's saying I'm the best, I'm better than
Right.
you, and you got to top me over. I get what you're saying. That is, the reason why her tone is different than everybody else is because everybody else can't have the same tone. Like Charlotte is not a full heel right now.
She's not.
It's
She's
not there yet. I can see it's going to develop, but it's not there right now because at the end of the day, they're going to need Charlotte and Becky to be on the same page for this 4 horsewomen thing. So she can't be a full heel right now. They kind of like on the same page a little bit, but it's not fully there yet.
Just
It's
because-
just her tone.
Just
Her
because-
tone is very royal because she's supposed to be royal.
But that's always been Charlotte. That's her.
That's
her
what I'm saying.
moniker
That's
is
her-
the queen. She
Right.
has
Okay.
to
She
be
has
that
to
way.
carry herself
She
that
has
way.
to be
You
the
can't
way.
tell me 2 things that makes Charlotte's character
Because we're not-
likable. Okay, now Becky Lynch, for example, what's her deal?
Because
She's
she's
not
the
better.
underdog.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
She's
you.
what?
She's the underdog.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, just because we don't
Charlotte-
relate to it doesn't mean somebody else is not going to relate to it. Like, we're not the
There's
fans that ask that.
right.
I've seen fans on Facebook, Twitter, whatever.
That will
big
defend Charlotte up
to
and
the-
down.
to the end.
You can't access that because this
we're
is
not
how
in their
we.
shoes.
We're if you listen to the show often, I say this numerous of times. Charlotte gets things handed to her, and this is a constant thing, right? She got into this triple threat match again. You know what I mean?
Right.
And she's gonna essentially win the Royal Rumble potentially, and she may even beat Ronda at WrestleMania if that's the way they decide to go. So you can't ask us and say what's one thing that's likable about Charlotte. You know, I don't think she's the strongest women's wrestler. I really don't.
That has nothing to do with it.
But you're
Can't do
asking.
with it.
But you're asking.
Charlotte's character on television.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
you're that
Likability.
goes. But
What's likable
you're-
about her character?
I'm
Not
saying-
like
you
I
can't.
like
but
Charlotte.
you can't. But you can't ask.
Okay,
I
no,
just
no,
told
no,
you.
No. Okay, Becky. Let me tell you. Okay, Becky. Why is she likable? Let me tell you why Becky's likable. Her character on TV. Why? She's
relatable.
She is relatable. Yes, and for 2017, she was basically squandered, pushed to the side, and she carries herself like that on television.
Okay.
And then with Charlotte Flair, the way she comes about everything. Oh, the reason why you're in this position, you Becky Lynch, is because I'm royalty. This is my business.
But that doesn't make
it's
you.
in my
Alright,
blood.
That doesn't
listen,
make
heel.
you. That doesn't make you heel.
No.
One, she's listed as a face.
Yeah.
She's
listed as a face.
yes.
Listed.
When you see
Yes.
her,
Where? Listed where as a face?
like when you see the type of matches they put her
on
in,
WWE 2K19, listed
like,
as a face.
like when you see what type of matches in. Let me just end this because we don't want to stay too long on this.
yeah.
Is that the thing with when you said, Dad, you made me forget. When you say that the way Charlotte Flair talks, she talks like that to the other superstars. She's not belittling the audience. She's not.
She has right, and
And when she is full heel,
that's true.
she'll go at
and
the
when,
audience.
And when Becky turned heel, she tried to go against the
audience.
audience.
This
Yeah.
is this
And
is,
it didn't
this-
work.
That's what I'm saying. This is
Yeah.
just the moniker right now on SmackDown amongst the women in general. Unless you're like Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, the moniker is big up your chest against the others to show that you're
Exactly.
superior.
And
Because that's what they're doing.
And that's why I brought
They
up the
didn't attack
example.
the crowd. They don't attack the crowd unless they're Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville.
And that's why I brought up the example in regards to Seth Rollins. There was an aggression when he got disqualified. That's a heel move. You don't see baby faces do that.
Right, but he's not a heel.
He's not a heel.
So then that's the thing.
But when you put up the chalkboard of heel moves and babyface moves, and yes, then with certain characters and wrestlers, yes, there are gray areas. But at the end of the day, heel babyface is likable, not likable.
But that's
Period.
subjective.
That's subjective. That's what I'm saying.
All right then.
All right, so let's leave it at that. I just want to say one more thing about that real quick.
No, we were leaving it at that.
No, I'm just saying I wanted to see Sonya Deville take that spot instead of Carmella because it made sense for Sonya Deville against Asuka at Royal Rumble. But anyway,
why?
Because they had that great match before, and Sonya Deville could have just.
Did she win?
She didn't win, but it was a great match.
And I'm not knocking that. Like I think Sonya should get a chance, but I think that's like you have to build up momentum, and Carmella has momentum in the sense of winning.
I was just trying to give a heel to fill in the void.
Honestly,
she was taking the fall in the match. That was it.
Carmella deserved to be in the triple threat match.
Anyway.
You know, Sonya is like, it goes back to what we said with the men's division. Sometimes you have to build people up. Build Sonya up. I agree. I like to see different people in and out and getting their chance, but you have to build Sonya up. Especially now she's playing background to Mandy right now when they were supposed to have a feud together when it looked like it was doing.
But this
you
is
can't
again,
throw her in there just like
but
that.
if they would have built it up for it, and again, Royal Rumble match is really a throwaway because we know the real thing starts after Royal Rumble. So that's why it's one of the things like just give her a throwaway match if she can rebuild
for a triple threat. Anyway,
how would you grade it?
I would give it a B+.
Great.
I'm gonna give it A.
Okay.
It was very effective.
I gave it a C+.
Main event was superb.
You were just on AEW.
Yeah, I was on an AEW high, which we'll get into.
Which you should not have used to.
I'm sorry.
Grade SmackDown because
I'm sorry,
that
but
makes
I was
it
just
biased.
like I was already high off that, and the people gave it an A.
It was a good show.
Anything on 205 Live anybody picked up?
No, nothing NXT.
NXT.
So let's get into hot topics.
Let's jump into hot topics.
Toni Storm deletes social media after private videos of hers were released. Current hashtags were promoted to show their support for Toni.
Yep, we support Toni Storm. I just think that that's just to me at this point it's getting ridiculous. I don't want to see wrestlers' personal lives on my.
Just in general, I just like, what's the whole point of leaking stuff? Like, we know what she's a woman, what she has. We know what guys have. Like, why is it like newsworthy?
I actually commend WWE for not not victimizing Toni Storm, but making her the bad guy in the situation. Right. You know, because with Paige, they handled that very well. They knew that wasn't her fault, that all this thing, this stuff happens. They understand that,
people have
technology, these things happen,
Unfortunately.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Braun Strowman is still not cleared.
Yeah, we talked about that on Raw. We don't know how long it's going to take. Hopefully he's ready for the Royal Rumble. I don't know why they would put him in the match if he's not even cleared yet, but here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa Marie Vaughn, a.k.a. Victoria, is calling it quits in 2019. This is her last year in wrestling. She is a 2-time WWE Women's Champion and 5-time TNA Knockouts Champion. So
I've always liked Victoria.
Yeah, I hope she comes back for at least one more run in WWE during this year. I would like to see it. She left kind of on a...
I mean, there's so much going on in WWE's women's division now. I mean, at this point...
She'll get lost in...
Don't want a nostalgia run now.
Yeah. So. I agree. I agree with that.
Three top New Japan Pro Wrestling wrestlers are rumored to leave the company. Kushida already confirmed that he will not be re-signed with New Japan Wrestling. He will have his final match against the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, Tanahashi. Okada is also one of the individuals that's possibly leaving New Japan. I don't really see it. But it's been rumored before that WWE is interested in him, of course, of the Rainmaker. And Naito. We've talked about this before. Nobody really knows what he's doing because, he doesn't really share much. But, of course, WWE is also interested in that. So, there's that.
Wow, there's going to be a lot of changes for New Japan.
Yeah.
A lot of big changes.
A lot of people for the better.
I don't know because a lot of people.
For the better.
Oh, yeah.
Because people are not very happy with the new management. They're saying it's not really, they're not making it fun backstage. It's not how it used to be, and this is why a lot of people are just dipping. Yeah,
there's not a lot of weight to that, anyway, so we don't know. I think, look, New Japan has been really good, but the thing is, I mean, I don't feel this way as much as other people might, but there's been a lot of, like when some people talk about New Japan that are casual viewers, they usually bring up the American dudes, right? The actual Japanese guys that help build the company, usually with casual New Japan fans, people don't bring up those guys. You mentioned Hiromu Takahashi or anybody, Tetsuya Naito, they're like, what did you just say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you just say? You know what I mean? So I just hope that the focus of New Japan going forward is to build your, the Shogun Yos, the Naitos, the Tanahashis, the Okadas. Focus on those guys.
The heart of your company, basically.
Yep.
Kenny Omega has made it official that he will be leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling after his contract ends at the end of January this month. Rumors that WWE offered him creative control, and what was the figure that we said?
$23 million for 5 years.
For 5 years. This is not true, according to Dave Mesler.
No, sir.
Yeah, that's what we kind of figured when we saying like creative control. What? Like, this ain't WCW.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
Yeah.
You do not
This
want
is
that.
not.
So, yeah. I remember we were talking about this. I'm like, well, if you're gonna give him creative control, but how does that leave the rest of the the company?
Creative control doesn't necessarily mean that you get to say when you win or lose to a degree. You can have control of how your character is.
No one's saying that in regards to wins or losses, but just in general, if you have creative control,
that means you can say no to stuff.
Exactly, and then that means what happens. In general, what about the other superstars? Like, what's going to be their direction? You're still going to give them crap,
right?
So that was the alarming thing to, I think, both of us.
Yeah, we're in a new world now, so
yeah, it's definitely not going to work like it did back in the day. See what happened with Brett and Sean?
That was a creative control disaster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, New Japan Pro Wrestling will continue relationships with Ring of Honor. The relationship is set to continue through Supercard and MSG. After that, it's up in the air if they will continue their relationship with Ring of Honor or probably pursue things with AEW.
Yeah. I heard rumblings about PWG, but...
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting in the next couple of months in 2019 for wrestling.
I mean, I think these companies should focus on, their own brand. I think Ring of Honor is really good when they work with, they've worked with Pro Wrestling Noah in the past, and they've done great. But, focus on your brand,
According to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, that the reaction amongst the locker room about AEW was positive. Wrestlers now feel that they have other places to work. And some of the wrestlers already knew about AEW since September. Others had no idea.
Yeah, I've heard some rumblings as well that these contracts that they're giving the wrestlers are pretty decent.
And the whole thing, well, we'll get into it with the rally, but like the health insurance thing, it just makes it very enticing to not re-sign with WWE.
Not without a TV deal, though.
That looks like where they're heading. So we're just saying in general, if that's the case, it looks very enticing to go, especially like health insurance or what have you. When you see so many wrestlers that wrestle without that,
right?
It's very enticing.
So let's go ahead and jump into this AEW rally. I was very excited about it. You said he was very excited about it. Came out very well. Just to skim through it real quick. SoCal Uncensored announced that they have been signed to AEW. Everybody's seen that coming from being the Elite. Matt, Nick, and Cody says when it comes to paying the wrestlers, they will be paying the wrestlers and will not be shorted. That was something they talked about at All In when they were trying to sign wrestlers, and they was like, I get paid this much. It's like, that's it? We're triple that. So they're really caring for the wrestlers because they're wrestlers. They get it.
Yeah.
Shoot, if you have a $1 billion
owner
backing you, you better make sure you're paying them.
So they're also going to have a partnership with a China promotion called OWE and their wrestlers.
Nice.
Which is cool.
So
nice feeder system to them.
Exactly. Double or Nothing is set to happen in Las Vegas, May 25th at MGM Grand.
Are you going?
Oh, yeah. Me and the Undisputed Brothers had our meeting today.
You're good. You see how?
I wonder how they're gonna distribute it as far as broadcasting it.
They're gonna probably have the same thing they did last time.
Because they don't have Honor Club no more.
They probably have Fight TV.
Yeah.
And by then, I'm pretty sure they're gonna have a TV deal. I don't think the TV deal is of who.
You know what?
The who is very important.
I don't really care for you.
Why?
Well, I had a meeting with my Undisputed. Like,
why
what?
you get so salty every time he brings them up? All the time.
Has nothing to do with that. But
you want to be a part of a group so bad. Why?
Ask me why. Jenna, you want to go?
I figured that you would,
Why don't you form your own crew?
I have my crew.
See?
Then why you worry about him?
Why are you worried about? This is an A and B conversation.
You always want.
Matter of fact, leave my show.
You always want to be involved in this stuff.
Here's the thing. I already know she's gonna go to Toronto or attempting to go to Toronto. With us, it was just more like choosing between Toronto, Vegas. So it was like,
So you're not doing. You don't want to do.
We're
Toronto.
not going to Toronto.
It's gonna be hot though, in May in Vegas.
It's like that's Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, forget about it.
So
all
it's
the college
like,
kids,
like
they're smart. Cody's smart for that.
this is where we're gonna go.
Okay.
And again, like I said, I know that you was planning for Toronto.
You could have asked me.
Are you going to all Double or Nothing?
I would like to. I really would like to go.
Oh, so there we go. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
We'll figure it out. The chief brand officer, Brandy Rhodes, shout out to her.
Women.
Yeah. Announced that the men and women
color.
men and women will have an equal pay, and there will be no sliding scale, which I
There
feel
you
like
go.
was a slight at WWE.
All of this at this point.
And she brought out their first official
Yeah.
wrestler signee, Britt Baker, which
Nice.
they stole from NXT.
Yes.
Great.
Like she was on a retainer with them. They didn't
Yeah.
give her a full contract.
Yeah.
So AEW was like, yo.
She
But
did
what-
a match with Shayna Baszler, right?
What?
Yeah.
What wasn't it a thing where I felt like I read somewhere that she didn't plan on wrestling for a while
I
because
told
she
you that. Yeah.
because she's the whole dentist thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
But now she could do both. And well, I think it's more so
Can
like
she?
I even think she could do both. I think it's more so that like this is a guaranteed contract full time.
So essentially, what you're saying is, if you gave her the choice of being a wrestler and a dentist, she would be
Right.
a wrestler. Okay,
So-
that's cool. That's dope.
I don't
And
think
she can always be a dentist.
right.
Mhm.
So that's that. Hangman Page came out and announced that he can't wait to be the first AEW heavyweight champion. And we got a surprise. Neville showed up,
Mr.
aka Pac,
Yep.
and said he's challenging him. So it'll be those two most
Setting
likely.
up an angle. I think they did this press conference so well.
They did.
You know,
Because nobody
it
saw that
was-
coming really.
Yeah.
So shout out to them.
We definitely didn't. Well, continue. I got ahead of myself. Go ahead, continue. Continue.
Okay.
Continue.
AEW's second show is also announced. They didn't give it a name yet, but we think it's going to be Fighting for the Fallen because they got that trademarked. So it's basically they're going to have a match, a show in Jacksonville, Florida, where most of the proceeds from the gate will be going towards gun violence.
Oh, that's great.
They
That's
are.
beautiful.
And this is what I'm saying. Like, this
they're
is just
class
like,
act. They're awesome.
this is for the people. Like,
They thought this through. You know, they really
The things that
were
touch
smart about
home
this,
and
yep.
like this is things that other promotions are not doing. And it's just like, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to do that and that. So
Okay.
here you go.
we definitely didn't see this coming.
I did.
Okay. Chris Jericho comes
Oh,
out
yeah.
at the end to announce that he is all in and will be part of AEW as well. What do you think?
You know, when I first heard about this whole thing, you know, when this was like really just kind of rumbling, you know, the rumor was that it was Jericho, Young Bucks, and Jim Ross were doing something.
In
With
that
Cody, you
in
know?
that
With Cody.
sense, yes, I didn't see it in the sense because at this point Jericho's just been floating around to
There you go.
with different stuff. I didn't see it as
He's
him
gonna be-
actually competing.
Right.
So
or signing
that-
a contract. He must really
Or
believe
si-
in this, yeah.
Yeah, so that caught me off guard in that sense.
And he's basically the main event came out and said we're not only changing the world. Here's another slight. We're changing the universe.
Get ready for Fozzy shows.
I'm just-
matches.
I'm just-
Fozzy sets.
But wait, did something go wrong between Jericho and WWE that
No.
he's?
I think he
No.
still, and to be honest with you, I think he did tell Vince like, "Hey Vince, I'm signing over here to give you a heads up," because they knew to move him to the alumni page. They knew to take him out the opening package. It was already set up. But I just think that he just has a different. He always said he had a different vision for wrestling than WWE. And as you like, he didn't call him for Saudi Arabia the second time. And he mentioned that like they didn't even ask me to do it. I guess they're salty about some things that I'm doing.
I don't think there's any bad blood because he always speaks highly of Vince.
Right, he
on his
always
podcasts
does.
and stuff.
But on their end, I think it's just on their end, it's just like, yo, you out here just doing things that we can't just accept everything you do.
You do, you're doing you. I mean, hey, as long as Jericho's gonna do, he's did everything he needs to do in WWE.
But yeah, basically,
You know,
he doesn't really need to.
what
be
else is he
back
gonna
there.
do there? You know, and let the younger talent shine. You know,
Yeah,
the biggest problem with promotions in the past is that guys are just kind of overstaying their welcome. You know,
Okay, we gotta kind of
Yeah.
go through
Yep.
this. WWE first denied fans. Well, this is rumored, right? I don't know if this was.
no,
actually
they had
confirmed.
video came
So
out.
WWE denied fans with AEW shirts into the arena, but the policy was quickly changed.
Yeah, they was giving SmackDown shirts.
Yeah. So yeah, which honestly, I mean, you're
That's
shaking
funny.
your head. I honestly, I would do that as a company. Like again, if I'm working for a company and there's the competition, how do I change that? I'm gonna give you an incentive.
I walked into Evolution with a Kenny Omega sweater, and no one said nothing to me.
I mean, you watch Raw and SmackDown every week, and you're gonna see that. But what
Right.
I'm
Oh,
saying,
yeah.
but what I'm saying is, now as a company, what do we do to change that? Obviously, make a better product, but I have to give the fans incentives on wearing our product instead of the competitor.
Yeah, it's what I was saying before. You know, a lot of promotions now just focus on you. You know, Triple H says in conference calls, like, we're worried about us. I'm going to make sure NXT is good. You know, whatever's going on around me, that's great, but I'm going to focus on what we got to do.
I just wasn't a big fan of, like, turning fans away that already paid for their tickets.
Really?
That's what they were doing.
That was the point.
That was the issue. That's foul. Like, because you had AEW shirt,
especially when you're struggling.
Or you can't buy a ticket with an AEW shirt on. It was just like, how about you just give them, like they did, give them a SmackDown t-shirt.
Jim Ross continues to deny any involvement with New Japan Pro Wrestling, makes it
known. Sorry.
Okay. Makes it known his contract with WWE ends in March. Billy Gunn will serve as a producer. HBO Vice doing a special documentary of AEW. And what else?
And here's the full roster so far. I'm going to run through this again very fast. Wait, where's the rest of my...
Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, Brandy Rhodes. I don't know. Chris Jericho, Pac, Hangman Page, Johnny Janela with Penelope Ford, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, Scorpio Sky, MJF, and last but not least, Britt Baker.
This is going to be
This is good.
This is good. This is a good start.
So, to close out the show, what's the question of the night?
If you could pick somebody from WWE, Ring of Honor, or New Japan Pro Wrestling to be next to sign with AEW, who do you think it would be? Outside of Kenny Omega, because he's going to be there already. he's there.
Kota Ibushi.
Oh.
Yep.
I thought it was odd that he's still staying there, especially when his boy is.
I think it's more so like he likes being a free agent right now. Okay. That's what he basically is. And then 2, I think he'll be the face of New Japan Pro Wrestling in the next 2 years.
I can see that.
So I don't think I would want to see him leave New Japan because he deserves at least to be
an asset to them.
Right. So.
What about you?
I would like to see the revival. To be honest with you.
I agree.
I would love to see that. I don't know if I said it to you, but I realized they wore #FTW on their tights this past Monday in gold. And I was just like,
Taz.
That seems a little bit too coincidental to me. Mm-hmm. I've never seen them with the #FTW in the back of their shorts and in gold. Mm-hmm. I was just like, makes me think.
Well, besides them, I think the most reasonable choice would be the Good Brothers, right?
Yeah.
And it goes back to our we had when I was texting you and you're like, "Where's the Good Brothers?" I'm like, their contract probably ends and they're going over there, right?
Yeah.
A couple of other guys like Zack Ryder.
Yep.
Since they're pretty cool and what have you. Mojo Rawley, whatever. But yeah, you know, I could, whatever. But yeah,
Kurt Hawkins, you know.
Tyler Breeze.
Tyler Breeze, you know, you can get a lot out of Tyler Breeze. There's so many people that we can see, but I think we're focusing a lot on the men wrestlers. I want to see in the next couple of weeks what women they sign, because again, I feel that if other promotions build up their women division, you can definitely give WWE a run for their money.
And that's what Brandy said. She would never signed on unless that was a focus. And I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some more coming in.
Yeah, I'm sure they're looking at Stardom and Shine and all.
It's just that a lot of people just recently signed their contracts. That's the only thing. Yeah, like TNA just signed a couple and Ring of Honor signed a couple. So it's gonna be like, but we'll see.
We'll see. And that's our show.
That's our show. Shout out to Peter A for joining us from the underground, from the little underground.
Yes,
applaud him, please.
I got you.
He played the hero slightly.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Slightly, it was fun. See, I told you it would be nice to have a different dynamic since we're always agreeing, right?
Definitely. And of course,
you guys are always agreeing.
Nah, not
kidding. Yeah, but majority of the time.
Majority of the times we have like.
Nah, not really. Majority of the time.
I hear you like throwing stuff at Blue sometimes.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Reshop.
Yes.
With the nice Selena hoodie.
If you want this, you can go to Custom Tees. Head on over to our link provided in our description box on YouTube or our bios at
The Mixed Tag Show, or our personal at Blue Magic Grind, or
at Miss Jenna Baby BAYBEE. Where can they find your show?
Peter A Radio on Twitter and Instagram, and at MLU Pod Twitter, Instagram as well, and My Little Underground, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else.
And on that night, on that note,
shout out to Collar and Elbow.
Collar and Elbow.
There you go.
Make sure you use our code on there, TMTS. And on that note, I bid you adieu, goodbye, mwah, and good night.
Bang.
It's the Mix Tag Show. With Jenna and Blue.
Hey, did you like this episode? Like, comment, subscribe, and share this with your friends. And don't forget to follow us on our social media pages at The Mix Tag Show.